And we're live on Real Talk with Christina and Tom, and it's Mindset Monday. How you doing, Tom?
What's up, Christina? How you doing? How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Mindset Monday, week 2. So tonight we're going to continue talking about mindsets, growth, and fixed. And now, instead of just talking about it, we're going to figure out what we can do about it, right? Because it's like that old saying, knowledge is power. No. Applied knowledge is power. What are we going to do with this newfound knowledge that we have? What are we going to do to apply it? How are we going to start making changes in our life? And it doesn't have to be gargantuan changes in our life, the first day, but we're going to start making small changes here and there. And before you make the change, we got to understand why we have to make that change. We have to evaluate where you're at in your life and what we can do about it. And fortunately, you've come to the right place because we have, well, I don't want to say all the answers. That would be wrong and a little egotistical. However, I think we have a pretty strong guide and a way to push you in the right direction, a gentle push.
Gentle push.
And to lead you into that gentle push is Cristina.
Hello there, gang, as I gently push you, as Tom says. Okay, so we spoke about growth mindset and some of the things that you had to do. So I'm going to quickly recap by stating some of those tips that we gave you just to get you guys back in the frame of thinking from last week. So you want to acknowledge your imperfections, right? So tip number 1, acknowledge your imperfections. Number 2, change your vantage point. Look at any of your challenges or your flaws as opportunities and not failures. Number 3, we're going to learn some new tactics and develop some new skill sets in order to take our so-called weaknesses, okay, and make them strengths. We are going to remove the word failure from our vocabulary and replace it with opportunity. We are going to stop seeking approval of others and start living for ourselves, okay? We are going to value the entire journey, the whole process, instead of valuing only the end result. We are going to cultivate a sense of purpose. It is only through taking action, developing new skills, and having experiences that we truly find our passion and purpose in life. So if you're going to be closed off to looking at your flaws as flaws and not opportunities, you are holding yourself back from living your purpose. Okay. Emphasize growth and not speed. It's not an overnight process. It is a journey. Understand that, grasp that every time you develop a new skill, guess what? It's become a strength, but there is another skill that needs to be developed that will come along. Actually, multiple skills will come along all at the same time continuously for the rest of your life. This I promise you. Okay, reward action, not just your traits, okay? How about a few more just to keep you guys on the mindset, growth mindset, okay? Highlight your relationship between learning and brain training. The brain is a muscle, people. It needs to be trained just like anything else in life. So proper training will produce proper results in your life, okay? Abandon this image that has been created for you by society, by people around you. Start living for yourself, the version of yourself and the vision for you in your community, in the world. It is your life. Okay, learn from other people's mistakes. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. You have a new skill set you need to learn. There are masters out there who have already learned it, who are now sharing it with the rest of the world. Go on, grab their material. Remember, we talked about trading material and the importance of evaluating ourselves and getting the trading material, the mentors, the coaches, and the proper squad to support our vision, okay? Make every goal an important goal to accomplish, whether it is small. We talked about small tasks when you're sitting down to pay your bills. Don't get up again until you've paid all your bills and you're done. Don't stop in the middle of your tasks and start other tasks. And then at the end of the day, you have 10 things that you halfway started and you didn't finish any of them. That leads to a feeling of failure and being overwhelmed, anxiety. That's a recipe for disaster. Start a task, see it through to completion, move on to the next task, okay? Now, last couple of tips that we gave you over Mindset Monday and last week's Thermal Thursdays. Take risks and meet new people, develop new relationships. Develop a squad. We called it a squad. These are the people that are like-minded, like-motivated, they're thriving, they have skills that they can definitely teach you. You have skills, you can teach them. Network, partner with people, learn, okay? But learn from the people who are living right, the ones that are purpose-driven, the ones that are success-driven, not from the ones that are gonna tell you not to do things that they've either never done or know that they have a weakness themselves and are refusing to do what is necessary to address those issues. They are the negative Nancys, the naysayers, those energy vampires. Don't listen to that kind of company. Listen to the kind of company like Tom Galan is to Cristina Ramillo. He's the yin to my yang, the Batman to my Robin. Okay, like-minded people. Take ownership of your attitude, your time, and your effort, because you are responsible for your life. You are responsible for the success you achieve or the success you don't achieve. It is nobody else's fault. Back to the comments that we made about it's time to adult. Everybody adults with us, okay? Tom, anything you want to remind them up on the tips from Mindset Monday or Thermal Thursday when we talked about growth mindset?
Well, you covered enough to last us a whole year of trying to figure ourselves out. So, yeah, awesome stuff, Cristina. You know, one of the thoughts that I was having was thinking about times that we were, or maybe we didn't get the job and somebody else we knew did. So, you know, at any point when somebody outdid you, did you think to yourself, well, they're more talented than me, they're smarter than me, they went to a better school than me, they had more experience, whatever it is, whatever the excuse that fixed mindset that we placed on our failure, think about maybe instead they prepared harder, they prepared more, they learned the skills necessary to excel at that task, they understood their weaknesses, they were willing to face their weaknesses, create them and turn them into opportunities, and those weaknesses, so-called weaknesses, were now their strengths. And now they were able to go out there and perform at a high level. So be careful and really analyze where you're at, where you were, and where you want to be. And think about it each day. Where are you? How do you go to work every day? Is it, are you complaining? Are you gossiping? Are you just making excuses for your work environment, for your being unhappy? I know we all go to work every single day, and we go and we see dozens of people that we work with, and one seems to be more miserable than the next, especially in today's society. So is it them? Is it the work environment? Which is it? Because we're in the same environment, but maybe you have a better attitude than they do, and you work with the same people in the same environment. So which is it? Is it the environment itself, or is it your mindset? I think it's the mindset. All right, and pass it back to you, Cristina. I have some other thoughts, but we'll address them a little bit. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tom, for sharing. All right, guys, so today we're going to keep this action focused now that we brought you back up to speed on the first two Mindset Mondays, well, the two Mindset Growth and Fixed Mindset episode we did, our first Mindset Monday, and Thermal Thursday's leadership tips, because they all work together. Okay, now that you're caught up to speed on that, let's talk about how you can take some very simple action steps to start you in the right path, okay? The first thing I'm going to say is that on the bottom of the link for the video today, there is a link that is there for a daily goal setting tracker that we are giving you for free. Click on the link, download the PDF, print it out. It gives you a way to organize it and to have it written down. We talked about putting it in a 3-ring binder. Do it daily. Don't just plug it mindlessly into your phone for reminders. I want you to actually stop, think, write, have to go back to the list, and have to physically cross it off, okay? To make you feel like you have accomplished something. And also, every time you cross off the list, it brings back the list for the rest of the tasks for that day back into focus for you. So click on the link, use the free activity. Okay, tip number 1. And now you're going to see how all of our episodes and all of our themes are tied together. Fuel your body with the correct sources of energy. That's your first tip. Food is fuel. We talked about that on Transformation Tuesdays. You need to fuel your body so that it performs at its best. If you're going to accomplish everything you want to accomplish in the day, every day, throughout your journey in life, you need to fuel yourself in order to do it. Tip 2, and it goes with 1. On that list for daily tasks, along with fueling your body periodically throughout the day, should be getting your physical activity in. Proactive approach to health benefits. Addresses some current issues you're having in your life right now. Also, better improves your sleep, improves your energy levels overall so you can function at a higher pace throughout your day, okay? 1 and 2 are self-care tools. We talked about that also. So stop looking at it as punishments and things that I have to do. Oh, I have to do this. I dread doing this. I hate working out. You hate taking, what you're essentially saying is that you hate taking care of yourself. Think about that before you say that you hate working out again, or you hate eating healthy. Nobody's saying drastic crash diets. We all know that we covered fad diets and how all the drastic approaches, we are anti-fad, anti-drastic approaches. We just want you to eat the right foods, okay, and have the right relationship with them. Tip 3, start your day with a podcast, a YouTube channel. I don't care what your source is, but some kind of audio that is mindset driven and energizes you, okay? Make sure, and the key thing there is that it energizes you. So it's got to be the kind of thing that fuels your fire and gets you going for the day. Turn off the news, turn off the social media accounts. Instead of checking your Facebook account first thing in the morning, put your podcast on, fuel your fire. It will make you start the day energized. When you start the day energized, you will be more productive. Tip 4, make time on your daily tracker for your training materials. Remember, we talked about the importance of finding resources, training materials that are, put out there and published, whatever format, whether it's audio, visual. I suggest mixing it up. Start your day with your audio. Make sure your training material is something concrete that you can read and that you can write on, all right? But your mentors are out there. Grab their training materials that they provide and throw yourself in. So yes, you need to schedule the time to eat. You need to schedule the time to work out. You need to schedule the time to include podcasts to start your day or YouTube videos. There are lots of sources out there. People, get creative, okay? Make time for your training material. It should be written in your schedule that you take an hour out of your day to do something to sharpen your skills. Remember that it is a mind, body, and spirit that we are taking care of. You are taking care of the whole person. So you have to brain train, basically. Essentially brain train yourself, okay? So in order to do that, you need to take time. You want to create daily habits. So part of your daily habits should be also talking to someone who's on your squad, whether it's your scheduled appointment with your coach for the day or somebody who's an accountability partner for a new skill set, somebody in a mastermind group with you, somebody who is on your squad, essentially. You need to stay in contact with people that are going to make sure they're holding you accountable. You're going to make sure you're holding them accountable. That's the kind of relationships that you want. So those are 5 tips that should be already in your daily planner. Everything else needs to be personalized according to your goals. Okay. You know the action steps that are required. You want to start a weight loss plan? Do your homework on what plans are going to work for you, for your specific needs, for your unique lifestyle. Go out, get the mentors. In this case, it would be the trainers and the coaches, okay, who have experience in training and nutrition that are going to get you through the hurdles on it. And then you do everything that they tell you as far as their action steps are concerned. And you play an active role in it. So those are 5 starter tips. I gave you an example on how to personalize it after. Tom, you want to throw anything in there?
You know, the big thing, and being in the fitness industry, Cristina, you know that what we hear most for people's excuses for not working out, for not taking care of themselves is,
I have no time.
I have no time. I have no time. So I was just doing some quick searching on the internet for some average social media use on a daily basis.
Scary.
According to some statistics, I haven't even gotten into all the other social medias, but Facebook gets about 50 minutes a day on average of your time. The average TV usage is almost 3 hours per day. So there's 3 hours watching TV. That's an hour on social media. That's 4. That's 4 hours a day that we are occupied. We're occupying our mind. Last week we talked about the senses. What are we putting into our bodies? What are we putting into our minds? Right? So we think of, well, food. Yeah, I know how does that affects my body? If I put something bad in my body, something toxic, well, then it's bad for my body. Well, the same thing happens with our senses, what we hear, what we see. So when you watch violent things, bad language, pornography, you name it, guess what? All those things come into your brain, into your mind, and they taint it. They start planting seeds, right? What happens is you see, police officers, firefighters, EMTs, when they see blood and guts and all these things that we don't, those of us who don't see that, they get accustomed to it. They get used to it. Their senses become desensitized. Well, you start desensitizing yourself to your needs in life. You watch too much TV, well, that becomes a priority. You desensitize yourself to your personal needs. It's a way to escape. Social media. While we're watching everybody else live through our social media, through their trips, through their activities, what are we doing? We're sitting. Right? Oh, I would love to be doing that. Oh, I would love to be on vacation where this person is. I'd love to be jumping out of an airplane or doing this, doing that. Well, you could be. You certainly could be. Instead of watching them do it, you could be doing it yourself. So I think about the most successful people. You want to talk whether it's businessmen, athletes, celebrities who are living anybody who's living this lavish lifestyle that we watch and we observe and we say, well, I would like to be like that. Well, do you think they sat back and just watched other people work towards their dreams and work towards their goals? No, they were out there doing it. Doing the opposite. Because we're stuck in the fixed mindset. We get stuck in the fixed mindset saying, that's only for X. That's only for them. That's for rich people. Or that's for the ones that live in that town. Or the ones that were born with a good body. They have good genetics. They must have good genetics. That's why he's the best athlete. Go read on Michael Jordan. He's probably one of the greatest athletes of all time. Maybe the greatest champion in any sport of any time, right? And just read about his stories, how many times he failed. He got cut from his varsity basketball team. And what did he do? It drove him. And when he got drafted and when he was in college and he hit the game-winning shot, what did he do after the game? He didn't go celebrate. He stayed in the gym and he kept practicing because he knew he had weaknesses that he had to turn into opportunities to get better. So his weaknesses became his strengths once he got into the pros, right? And he never stopped changing. He never stopped growing. Think about it. He went and played baseball. He started at the bottom and tried to work his way up, right? And then he came back, and what happened? He became champion again 3 times in a row, right? So read up on anybody that you look up to, whether it's athletes or CEOs of corporations, right? So there's many examples out there of what we want and what we don't want. We don't want to live. And I've always said those people that we learn that from are equally important. I know throughout my years in the fitness industry, I've worked for a lot of people. And there's characteristics about each one of those people that I've worked for or worked with. I said, you know what? I like this quality about them, but I don't like this. And guess what? They were equally as valuable for me. They were equally as valuable because I saw their weaknesses or their flaws or the things that I didn't like. I said, I can take that and I'm going to make sure that I don't do that. So then that made me become more aware of my actions and my thoughts. And then I could also observe myself. What is it that I want? Who do I want to become? Where do I want to go? What do I have to work on? So I know I threw a lot at you, but you know, all those tips Cristina was talking about, the big thing is you have to stop making excuses. Where there's a will, there's a way. And you have the time. It's no excuse. You have to get it done. One more thing on time and stress and anxiety. I remember reading a book, and it was about meditation specifically. And there was a CEO of a corporation, big corporation, multinational corporation, and he said, so you meditate, how do you find time to meditate during the day? He's like, well, I meditate an hour a day. Well, like, what about when you're really busy? I mean, there's got to be times where you're traveling a lot and you're super busy and your stress and anxiety levels are at an all-time high. What do you do then? I meditate for 2 hours a day. And that really opened my mind. He found the time because he knew it was important, because he was not going to be able to perform his best for his people, for those that relied on him, family, employees, business partners, the board for his company. He was not going to be able to perform his best for them if he wasn't at his best. And he knew that top of that list was self-care. So whether you do that through meditation, a spiritual outlet, or your exercise, nutrition, your workbooks that you're working on, asking yourself those questions, all of it has to be a part of your daily routine. I'm not saying go take those 4 hours that you're spending on TV and social media and now do 4 hours of spiritual work. You can take a part of it to start. And then that small part becomes a little bit bigger, and then a little bit bigger, and so forth. And then you adjust it to your lifestyle and where it is and what it is that you want to accomplish and how far you want to go. Thank you, Cristina.
Thank you, Tom. I just want to say that 4 hours, I mean, and I'm sure Tom and at some point, I have a feeling Tom and I are going to do some research on that and give you more narrowed down statistics on what the average person is spending their time on every day. But to bring you with the statistics Tom brought to the table today, 4 hours between television and Facebook alone a day, the average person on it. And like you said, you're desensitizing yourself. You have to ask yourself, what are you escaping from? What are you really escaping from? It's almost like people are addicted. I honestly believe they are addicted to, Netflix, or I'm not knocking Netflix because I love Netflix, okay? And I'm not knocking Facebook because we obviously use it for business. But I will tell you that I do not spend 7 hours, 4 hours, or 1 hour a day. The only time this girl goes on Facebook is when it's work related. I may occasionally, somebody tags me on something, respond, but guess what? That's when I'm already going on Facebook for work related activity. I'm sorry, as much as I love you all and your families, I don't need to see carousel video after carousel video of your children because I am living my life myself on it. Why do you feel the need to spend so many hours on there? What are you escaping from? You guys are on these social media sites basically putting out a facade of the life you want to live instead of actually going out and living that life yourself. So utilize that time. Tom says he's not going to tell you to take all 4 hours. I'm going to tell you reduce it to an hour between television and your social media account a day. 2 max between both TV and social media. All right? You don't need that much on it. And quite frankly, you have no business sitting down watching Netflix if you didn't get everything else you needed to get done that day done on it. Enough of this, oh, I deserve this. You deserve what? To sit down and watch Netflix? Think about the statements that you guys are making when you're making these statements, all right? So back to your checklist. Some other things, Tom, that they could put on their daily checklist in order to start to build, because the whole goal is for you guys to form new habits, to replace your current habits and form new ones so that you develop a new pattern of thinking, a new pattern of living. The best way to get to your big explosive goals is to change the way you're doing things, not only from your perspective, but the action steps you're taking in your life. So eat right, exercise, spend time listening to motivational material, not motivational per se, but energizing material, stuff that's mindset related that gets you fired up and going. Spend time with your training resources, minimize the kind of negative influences you have in your life, media included, okay, social media and news outlets included in it. Minimize your contact with outside people. Spend those hours. Don't get on the phone gossiping with your girlfriend when you could be listening to Grant Cardone on his YouTube channel. I had to find a way to bring Grant into this. You know I did. Okay. Some other things that you could be doing, Tom. Any suggestions? What are some of the things that you do in your day, every day?
Well, besides, let's see, endless miles driving to dance class back and forth, waiting outside of dance class until they get out of dance class, going to pick up her friends, bring her back to home, and then go take the other one and bring them back to dance class, and then wait till they get out of dance class, and then come back home, and then work out before I have to go live for Real Talk with Cristina and Tom. And then after I'm done, I'll go prepare all my food for tomorrow, and then everybody's asleep by then, so then I'll get ready for bed, and then I'll start reading for my self-care, and then I'll shut the lights off, wake up tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., write my blog, and do it all over again. So that was pretty much my day. Oh, I didn't tell you the point between 7 and 3 when I'm at work.
I was like, there's a whole chunk of your day that you didn't talk about, Tom.
Yeah. No, but I'm a family guy, so my time is very precious. And I adore every moment that I have to be with my family. But right now, where you see me in my background stuff, I'm in my garage. This is my gym. I have a nice, like, half of the garage. I've turned it into a gym, and this is my place. So I come down here, I get my workout, and I don't even go to the gym anymore. It takes away too much time. Right? I can get more work done here in my solitude, my fortress of solitude, Superman reference. And I can get done what I need to do here. I do my own reading. As much as I love reading about history, and that's like my pleasure reading. I don't read it because I feel like, well, I could be reading a book on, history. It's great, or I could be reading books on mindset, on self-improvement, and how to improve aspects of my life that I want to improve on. So all those things that you're talking about, Cristina, I live it. I have to live it, not because I want to be the example in my people's life who I have encounters with every single day, with my students at school, with my own children, especially my own children, my wife. I have to set the example. That's my job. As a father, as a husband, as a teacher, as a human, my job is to set the example for those around me, whether I know you or not. Go back to sports real quick. Joe DiMaggio played for the Yankees. He hustled every out, even if he knew it was going to be out. He hustled. He ran as fast as he could to first base. And somebody asked him one day, Joe, you hit a fly ball. You knew it was going to be called. Why'd you run so hard? He says, because there might be a kid in the stands watching me for the first time, and I want to make sure I set a good example for him. Right? To me, that's huge. That's life right there. That's what our lives are for, to set the example for those around us, and maybe we motivate and inspire somebody that we don't even think is watching us. Right? And that's the most important. And that goes into character. Right? Character is what you do when no one's watching. So how are you living your life? Is it a facade? I know plenty of people that are on Facebook that put facades up. That they are one way, and then they put a whole nother image on social media to show the world, like, hey, look how great I am, how happy I am. It's very sad, actually. So they're trying to prove it to themselves and prove to the world that, everything's great, but when they're not, when they could have some introspection and go inside and take a look at what you can improve upon. And the hardest part about all of that, and I hope those that are listening and watching, is it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. And that's really the hardest thing in our life. Whether you have a medical condition or a disease, whether it's alcoholism or drug abuse, whatever the issue is, maybe you just don't know where the hell to start. Maybe it's nothing that serious. Maybe, you know what? I want to lose weight once and for all. I want to feel better. I want to feel good. I want to feel like I was when I was, 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I want that back. But you can. But you have to ask for help. And I hope that what you hear from Cristina and I each week and each night, it pushes you in the direction that you want to go. And more importantly, rather than just listening to us talk, you take action through the materials that we provide you, because hear motivating things. And like Cristina said, wake up in the morning and put on something that'll light the fire inside you. That'll light that fire and to inspire you to become that person that you dream of. But that's not enough. Is that you have to take the action steps. You have to take those action steps to make it happen. Just like we talked about with talent versus hard work, right? My favorite quote, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. We see that all across our life aspect. That are super talented, have natural ability, quote unquote, natural ability, but they don't realize it. And they don't work hard for it. Yet somebody who has less talent, quote unquote, works their tail off. So was it the talent? Was it the hard work? Which is it, right? So take what you have, make it better if that's what you want to do. Bust your ass, whether that's in your employment, in your personal relationships, in your nutrition, in your exercise, in your spiritual life, whatever that is. Put in the effort. Take the steps necessary. Ask for help. You do those things, can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And what's the worst that can happen? You feel better?
Hey, Tom. Yeah, I think the worst that could happen is that they feel better. And besides, at the end of the day, the reality is hard work is always going to be hard work, but hard work is always rewarding. But the worst part is that, and we said it during the evaluation, if you can get past that hump and evaluate yourself, switch your vantage point on your situation and say, this is not a flaw, this is not a weakness, this is an opportunity. Everything else will fall into place with the appropriate amount of work put forth for that goal, okay, and for that change. And we say daily, start with your daily habits, okay, your daily goals, because you do need to develop certain kind of rituals to how you live your life. And I'm not talking about altar rituals and statues all over the place. I'm talking about how are you spending your time? Who are you spending your time with? And what could you be doing? So that comes back to evaluating again. All right. Evaluate your day. Who am I spending my time with? Who should I be spending my time with? What am I spending my time doing? What should I be spending my time doing? Is this moving me towards my goal? Is this moving me towards health, success, freedom, a life free of anxiety, a life free of, restraints or fear or anything else that's crippling you, a life free of depression? Okay. You want security in life. The only way to have a secure life is to be confident in who you are, your ability to become resilient, to keep striving for better, to reach financial success. Let's not kid ourselves, okay? You need to reach financial success in order to have a free life. End of discussion. You want the rest of the world to fall apart and your bank account not to be affected by it. That is the only way to have security. We're talking about security, not comfort. Comfort's a different thing. Okay, and we'll get into the difference on a Thermal Thursday episode when we're discussing success and leadership in general. But you want security, not comfort at the end of the day. You want to make sure that you also, and here's where I'm going to say part of your daily tasks is to monitor who is in your life, because you're going to have those negative Nancys, those energy vampires, you will come across obstacles and challenges with individuals. And I'm going to share a quick story. And if I didn't practice what I preach, and if Tom didn't practice what he preaches, and we didn't just speak what we're speaking and not actually walk, the talk that goes along with it, we would be two very different individuals and very easily could be. Especially, we do business with other fitness, wellness, health professionals. Okay, so we see others in our industries. Sometimes we attend meetings, and we did attend one meeting in particular where not only was it not a good fit, but we were presented with an offer that when we went back and discussed it amongst ourselves, basically would have been, whether the individual realized it or not, we would have been taking advantage of them. Our offer was to benefit all parties involved. Their offer would have definitely favored us more than it would have favored, that party. And we could have taken it right then and there, no questions asked. But because we are who we are, we decided not to move forward with that for several reasons, because that would have been a recipe for disaster all the way around. Would we have benefited financially from it? Yeah, we would have. It would have been short-lived because the other person would have realized that later, and then there would have been issues. So also, part of your self-evaluation and your daily goal tasks is to make sure that you're living in check with your own moral code, okay? And with your own principles and values, so that you don't put yourself in compromising situations that are going to maybe, give you instant gratification, but later down the road create bigger problems. When we say break things down and evaluate yourself, then take the appropriate action, don't fall to what's comfortable, because it leads to disaster. We have seen it in our own lives personally. We see it in business. We see it with the people that we work with. We see it with the people we network with. So there's some truth there. There are shelves and shelves of books at Barnes and Nobles about very similar topics. So there's a reason, guys. There's a pattern here. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just jump on board and, utilize what we're giving you and what others are giving you that are in the field. And we're not saying stop everything here, on Real Talk. We're just giving you the starting point, and we want you to jump from there and go get as many resources and mentors and coaches and support people, build your squad up all the way around. Don't just rely on Tom and myself, because we are humble enough to know that in the future, we're bringing you experts that are outside of MBS Connection as well, that are not directly related in-house with us, because we know then a lot of people are out there. And then a lot of people have a lot of value to offer you. So check your list, check yourself, and get moving. There's no reason why you shouldn't start tomorrow morning. We're even giving you a format on a daily checklist to have. You have no excuses. Okay, Tom, anything you want to add to that for them?
No, I think we've said enough. And the biggest thing is to take action. Check out Christina's blog. She talks about those daily checklists. She also mentioned the link beneath this video. You'll have everything you need. We provide you with all the tools that you need for your toolbox. So tools don't do you any good if they're just sitting there collecting dust. Apply them. Pick them up. Use them. Get your hands dirty. Right? Don't be afraid to dig deep and ask those hard questions about yourself and of yourself. Don't be afraid. Drop the fear. Because if you're at a place right now where I wish I had this, or I wish I had the courage to do this, well, forget it. Drop all that past belief and the fixed mindset that you've been living with. Take a courageous step forward with a growth mindset and start asking the hard questions. Utilize the tools that we provide. Start moving. Start tonight. Start tomorrow morning, right? There's no excuse, right? It's okay to start on a Tuesday and not after a holiday or after the new year. You can start tomorrow morning. It's cool. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, good night, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for Transformation Tuesdays. Later, Tom.
Woo!